Let's face it, spreadsheets aren't the most exciting things in the world, but the feature I want to show you in this movie is a really cool new feature. Sparklines are like tiny little charts that fit in a cell. They're fairly easy to use and they have some nice features, so let's check them out. The idea is this. We have all our data here and we have some space over here, so we'll put the charts, the little sparklines, in this column. So let's start. I'll click the first number, scroll down. I'll click the last number, and sparklines are things that you insert, so let's go to the Insert tab. And over here is the sparklines group. Let's start off with a line, so click Line. And we already have the data range. In fact, if you click up here in data range, you can see the marching ants. So I'll go down here to location range. I'll click the first cell there in H5, scroll down, and I'll shift click down at the bottom there. And then click OK, and boom, it just puts them in. So I'll just click to deselect. The width of the column could be anything we want. If we stretch it out, the lines get more flat. If you make it really narrow, they get more pointy. I'll just move them back to where they were. We can also modify where the data are coming from. And here's what I mean by that, is when we go over here to Edit Data and choose Edit Group Location and Data, we can change where we want the sparklines to go or where we want the data range to be. So you could modify any of those. I'm just going to cancel out. Also, let me go back here to Edit Data. If we want to edit the location of one specific sparkline, right now I have this one sparkline active on cell H7. When I click here, Edit Single Sparklines Data, if you wanted to, you could redirect the data to pick up cells somewhere else. I'm not going to do that, I just want you to see it. So I'm going to cancel out. Let's scroll back up here. Now I said that you could also choose where the lines are going to go first and then pick up the data. So let me show you how to do that. Now you can't simply delete. What you do is you make sure that any one of the sparklines are selected. And up here, make sure that Sparkline Tools in the Design tab is selected. And go over here to Clear and just choose Clear Selected Sparkline Groups, and they're gone. So let's do the reverse. We'll select the range first where the sparklines are going to go and then the data. So let's go up here to H5. I'll go down here and I'll shift click on H29. And again, we'll go back to the Insert tab. I'll go to Insert a Line, and here it has a location range, and now we'll choose the data range. So I'll click at the top, shift click at the bottom, click OK. So it's the same difference. Really doesn't matter which way you like to do it. Let's do a little bit of formatting here. Now, because this is a group, you don't have to have the whole thing selected. As long as any one of these sparklines is selected, you'll end up formatting the whole thing. So we could look at things like the first point, the last point. You see the little dots are coming on there. If you want to see the high, the low, if you have negative points, and if you want to see every little marker, that is every little data point, every change, you can click markers over here. So you could turn these on and off as you like. Change a couple of other things. Let's change the color. Let's change the width, make these a little thicker, and maybe let's change the marker colors over here. And from that, you have all these different styles that you can choose from. So you really have a lot of control over it. We have some negative values. So let me remove some of these points here. So just the negative points are sticking out. So you can see them and they're okay, but I'm going to show you a way of seeing much more clearly where the negative values are. So instead of having lines, maybe you want to have columns. So let's just click over here on column, and boom, there you are. And we could do the same thing like with any of the others. We can change the colors and the markers and so forth. But what I really want to show you is win-loss. So click over here, win-loss. Again, we make sure that any one of these is selected. Now, the negative ones, you can see the lines are a little bit below that, but that's really hard to see. So let's go over here to marker color, and let's turn negative points into something else. So here, if they're bright yellow or some other bright color, now they really stand out. So if all you're concerned with is positive value and negative value, this, I think, is the best way to do it. And you can still change any of the other formats that you like. So my advice is go play around with them, and I think you're going to enjoy the new feature.